Hey, what's up everyone, Blade here, and welcome back to another video of Persona 5X. Inside today's video, guys, we're going to be going ahead and talking about a few things that, of course, Black Wings and them can do to make this game a little bit more interactive. As many of you guys do know, we are in a little bit of a dead period here. Granted, of course, tomorrow, I think like Global and TW and them are all getting their updates, but even then, this is like the future stuff as well, some things that people could really think about, seeing that we get these periods quite often, and to be honest, I think someone needs to talk about it. So if you guys do enjoy this video, please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. As per usual here, I appreciate every last bit of support. I'm sorry I haven't been like here all the way. I was not doing too well. Once again, yesterday I wasn't feeling good again, so I took another day off. You guys probably noticed, I had no video up yesterday. Took another day off with that. But I need to get started on it because there's a lot of things I need to do. Y'all are probably gonna see a lot of raid content. I know y'all ain't gonna like that, but hey, I gotta do this for my contract, and I also gotta do this for the wellness of me because hey, I need what I need. But we're gonna get straight into it here. But when it does come down to, of course, P5X, as many of us have noticed, it has been in a little bit of a dry period. Even on what's it called, TWKR, we don't have many banners anymore because we're getting ready for the next one here. Obviously, in a day we get some other stuff here that's coming out. What's going to be P3R side of things. When it comes down to Global, of course, they're kind of winding down because they're waiting on what's it called, I think they're waiting on Howler. So there's a lot of things going on that's now making the game feel a little bit sluggish. Now there's a couple things that they can do to kind of help this, and this is going to revolve around game mode. Recently we ended up getting this game mode on TW here. Global ended up getting Astrolab, so there is a little bit of extra stuff that they can do. But the problem that I have here is, unlike in most games where we're looking at like Star Rail, we're looking at what's it called, games that have a lot of weekly stuff, the main thing that P5X is kind of missing is a lot of weekly content. And it's kind of what gets us into this dry period, because when we look at least our game modes and things that we have, the stuff that we have isn't really weekly. It's more like bi-weekly or tri-weekly, depending on exactly what's going on. Like, we don't have anything for revolving around like SOS here, which honestly, I know I'm slacking on this. I need to go ahead and do this again because I am a little bit low. So who knows, you guys might see a SOS video come out or something like that. But we are missing like SOS. We're missing things that are revolving like Guild Boss here. For all these things, they're not weekly. They're no longer weekly or anything like that. They're all just like tri-weekly or bi-weekly. And that's a little bit of a problem for us, because when we do think about things, especially when it does come down to an everyday occurrence here, every week having weekly challenges would make things a lot better. We have a couple game modes that we just don't touch here, and it's kind of crazy because we would be able to at least participate in those, but we no longer have that. For example, this stuff, not weekly. Or our what is it called, or weekly, these things, they're not weekly. Velvet Trials, not a weekly thing here, which also would be pretty darn dope if they made it into a weekly thing, because honestly, I feel like Velvet Trials being a weekly would be actually dope as crap, not only for just materials, but also ways to like challenge yourself a little bit more. That'd be awesome. I was trying to find, hold on, actually that's my first thing. I just now noticed that I think they removed the subway. Did they? I think they did. No, wait, no, that's Trial of Thorns here. Yeah, no, I think they removed the subway because I guess they noticed people weren't playing it or something. But unless it got moved around, someone can tell me down below in the comment section if you're on TW, but I never really noticed until just now. But for example, the little subway thing that you usually are able to do, Heart Rail, that also is just like nothing to do. Usually if we have things to do on the weekly basis, that gives the game a little bit something extra to do. And I feel like the main thing that 5X is kind of missing is having a lot of its weekly basis stuff. This usually gets the game to dry up here. We have lack of content. Heck, we even have mementos kind of just chilling here. And the only time this updates is, of course, when we get a new story update. I do feel like there's some things that they can change with this, and this is where this is more going to revolve. The weeklies are a part of this here, and I want to see these type of things. Now, to get things started, I would definitely say that if we had like a weekly thing that we could do inside of mementos, this would be great, because let's be honest here. You come here for the first update, finish everything, we get moving. You don't really do anything else here. And it's kind of a shame because mementos, especially in the actual games, If you're grinding, of course, this is going to be the main place that you're going to be at for quite some time here, and it is going to take a lot of your time doing so. I feel like that would be perfectly fine if we had like a weekly thing where we can either get some mobs, get some treasure, get anything that we can get out of here, either where it's like jewels, materials, and this would be a good little thing to hunt, because the only other time that most of us do come in here is if we're really down bad on materials. And by down bad, I mean we have to be down horrendous. Like we got to be missing a little bit of everything for us to actually want to come in here. Other than that, we're kind of in a period where we don't come in here. Okay, there's no real need or want to go into this area, and I find that a little saddening, because Mementos is a cool little spot that I feel like a lot of us would enjoy to go into if there was really an incentive. Only problem is there is none. They can add something that is like some type of reward in there or something like that. It'd probably be worth it, but honestly, it's just not worth it right now to do anything in there. Another place that I want them to actually kind of start making more of a weekly option here is palaces. I've mentioned palaces for quite some time here, and I'm just gonna go to the first one because, of course, first or second actually. I like the second because of the music. But palaces is another place. I've been saying this on countless streams, countless things here, and oh wow, whoa, that's painful. Okay, let's not do this. Hold on, guys, we're doing a cut. Okay, now that tomfoolery has booted back up, yeah, I kind of forgot that the palaces themselves are technically out of the game. To make the game smaller, they made it so like everything is not installed there. Yeah, kind of forgot about that. But what is it called? Palaces is like a huge deal where I feel like they honestly need some other use, right? We do them for the one time and that's it. You don't really do them anymore here. And it's kind of a shame, because palaces, of course, would be a cool deal. Now, granted, you're meant to complete them in the main game, of course, and you never go back to them. But seeing this is a live service game, I feel like they need to do something with this. Now, there's certain games that do have, of course, their normal modes, their extreme modes, and by doing so, everything is heavily up in difficulty and such like that. I feel like palaces would be a good way to do something like this, of course, and it'll be a good way to make use of them a little bit more, because they're always going to be in the game, right? Of course, if you want to revisit them, much like you just saw, you're going to have to re-download the area and stuff like that, and it takes up more space, blah, 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 blah. But honestly, I do feel like palaces need more of a usage, because after we go ahead and do them the one time, that's it. I want to see something where either this is maybe monthly and it's a really difficult, like, oh, the mobs got to be difficult. You will need to change teams. You will need to sub in certain partners. You will need to use heals and stuff. Like, having stuff like that into the game that's either on the monthly or weekly basis would be pretty darn cool. And I think for a lot of people would be a breath of fresh air. And with the point that P5X right now is at a very dead state, I think this is something that the game does need. Now, am I saying things that are scratching the bottom of the barrel? Heck yeah, I am, because I ain't gonna lie to you. Even when I was making this video today, it was very hard to come up with a topic. Now, I normally have a plethora of ideas. I'm usually very quick on that type of stuff and knowing exactly what I want to do. The only problem with this is just I was not like that today, and this is kind of out of normal for me, because usually I can come up with ideas. You guys be thinking I'd be just trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel, but normally that's genuinely things that I like to come up with, or either things that people ask me. And it's kind of hard to this time around. When it does come down to this is purely just dead, and it's purely just a dead time period here. We had Twins, which is heck of hype, by the way. Still love those goddamn characters, but afterwards it was more like, okay, we pulled this last 2 weeks, what's next? And there was nothing. There was no events. There was nothing crazy happening, and I feel like we need something to fill that void. So if they ended up working on something with of course weeklies or monthlies, especially with the palaces, once you go ahead and go back to them and they're way more difficult, that would be really cool too. Not to mention, we already do know that palace confirmations, I think they're only doing 7 palaces in this entire game here. So this would be a nice way to extend the game a little bit further. Of course, I'm pretty sure they've already thought ahead of time of how they're really going to extend this game, because they already said and confirmed it's going to be 7 palaces in total. But And even with that in mind, I feel like there's ways to extend this game, and they're not taking the best of routes to doing so just yet, but they are still trying. So of course I want to try and come up with as many ideas as possible, being that of course we already have the weeklies with weekly Velvet Trial, weekly stuff at Heart Rail. If that ever comes back, I think that's gone for good though. Weekly stuff revolving, of course, or weekly or monthly revolving the palaces, making them ultra difficult. And that is one of the few things that I am very adamant about, because I'm trying my hardest not to shield this game, and that is why I always give you guys my most honest opinions. But right now it is a tough time being a creator for this game. It actually hurts a lot because there is nothing to do, and I mean nothing to do. Now granted, of course, P5X, when it gets its update, especially on TW, will have a ton of stuff to do with Tartarus things. Of course, I'm gonna have to go through all of that stuff. I'll be able to stream all that stuff, but it is going to be a very difficult time to go ahead and do something like this, especially with what we got. Okay, and if they're not putting forth a lot of effort for that, then it's going to make a lot of people kind of die off on these dead times. And even when it gets back hype, it's going to have to be like a really hype timing, like anniversary, where we'll have some more stuff going on. But I really do think this game does need some more weekly or monthly modes, something that's just going to keep it kind of fresh for a lot of people. I think it's the only way to kind of save it, because we get a lot of characters. That's cool. We get a lot of those type moments. Our stories do take a little bit of time to update, but even the stories are pretty darn hype. But if we don't have stuff to kind of take up that dead period, at least to be something that's refreshing, which a ton of games nowadays have this. ZZZ, you got of course Genshin, you got HSR, you have games such as like Duet Night Abyss. A lot of these games have these weekly stuff that this game is just lacking. So I do think that's going to probably help it out in this dead week. But let me know what you guys do think about this as well. Do you think weeklies would help this game with monthly / weekly stuff? What type of idea would you love to add to this game to make it feel like more stuff you can do per week? I want to know you guys' idea on it. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. My throat is still killing me, and I've been trying to keep a decent tone this entire video, and holy Christ, we're gonna see. Now today is a streaming day. I'll let you guys know if I stream. If I don't, then you know what happened, but we'll see. Peace out.